Hello, my name is Run Right and I do Run Right Reads. Today I'm going to be doing the BookTube Newbie quiz because I want to introduce myself to you and I want to tell you all about my books and my book history and reason that I love books. Thank you for watching. Hope you will subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing the BookTube Newbie Tag. I am new to YouTube. I'm new to vlogging. I've had a blog now for a couple of years. I typically write. I'm a writer. I love to write. But I am also a person who loves to talk. I read a lot. I love to share what I've read. If I'm learning something, I'm reading some nonfiction and I want to share it with everyone that I know. But I am sharing my videos here on YouTube because I want to share, I want to talk, and hopefully I'll find a community of people who want to listen. So first question in the BookTube Newbie quiz: what made you start a channel? I started a channel because I wanted to share my thoughts about books that I have read, and BookTube is already just waiting for me to come on to talk. So what made you start a channel? Because the BookTube community exists. Question number 2: what do you bring to BookTube? What do I bring to BookTube? You mean aside from all of this and all of this lovely personality, this big heart, this cute face? Well, for starters, I read a lot. I read a lot of different kinds of books. I'm very interested in nonfiction. I am interested in learning personal development, self-help, psychology, business. I'm also an engineer, so I read a lot of science books. According to the Malcolm Gladwell Outliers theory, his 10,000 hours theory, I am not just an expert, but I'm like a doctor of reading, and reading specifically business books and educational books and science books and so on, because I've been reading them since I've been a child. And so that's what I bring to BookTube: a brand new perspective, outlook, view, the Run Right view. Question number 3: what are you most excited to do on your channel? I'll talk to you guys about books. I'm hoping that I'll find a community. I'll find people who just love to read books, fictional books, non-fiction books. I'm not so much into graphic novels, but I'll read a few. What are you most excited to do on the channel is to share my love of books, of all kinds of books, of not being stuck in one genre. This is my channel, and so I don't have to review all young adult fiction. Question number 4, I think, is the weirdest question: is why do you love reading? Isn't everybody who's a booktuber like in love with reading? In his book A Dance with Dragons, George R.R. Martin said, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. A man who never reads lives only one." I feel like I've lived in so many different countries. I feel like I've lived in so many different time periods. Why? Because I read a lot of different books. I read fiction where people make up fantasy, things that do not exist in real life. I mean, as a kid, I read Enid Blyton bedtime stories about things that didn't exist: Aladdin and the magic lamp and the flying carpet and all of those things that actually don't exist. But the books, the stories are so well written, it feels like you're actually immersed in that culture, and so you get to live a life that a person who doesn't read doesn't experience, because that life is not available in this 3D dimension we call Earth. Question number 5, I think, is what book or series got you into reading? I grew up in a house where there were always lots of books. I remember the first novel that was gifted to me. It was called The Red Pony by John Steinbeck, and I felt like this amazingly accomplished owner of a personal library because I had this adult kind of novel for me. That wasn't the book, obviously, that got me into reading. It was just the first novel that I remember being given, the first adult kind of novel that was given to me by someone outside of my family. My family gave me books all the time, so I can't remember those. I'm sorry, guys. When I was growing up, we had Nancy Drew, Nancy Drew, Carolyn Keynes, the original Nancy Drew, Bobbsey twins, which I really loved. I love the fact that there were 2 sets of twins in this family, and I kept imagining myself in that family. I also read the Hardy Boys, because that's just what we did. I grew up in a pretty different time and place, I suppose, because the Hardy Boys wasn't marketed as being just for boys, even though it was called the Hardy Boys. And so girls as well as boys read those books pretty much equally, and we enjoyed them both. Question number 6, how do you make time for reading? Funny you should ask. I wrote a blog post. My blog, by the way, runwright.net, RUNWRIGHT. My name is Wright, and I run my blog. I started because I was a runner. Yes, I was a runner. I still am a runner. I run. Why are you laughing? It's runwright.net if you'd like to check out any of my posts. How do you make time for reading? I read everywhere. I read before I go to bed. I read when I wake up. I read during the day. I read if I'm on the train. Sometimes if I'm really, if I'm at a pivotal point in the story and my subway stop has come up, I will walk out of the train still holding my book and reading. So how do you make time for reading? I just insert reading into everything that I'm doing, into every available time and space. If I have time and I have an opportunity to read something, that's what I'll be doing. Next question, what challenges do you think being a booktuber will bring? So I am new to this. I'm new to just sitting and talking to my phone or to my camera. I know that just filming, right now I'm filming in my room. You can see my purse is there, my bookshelf, my little accoutrements in the background. I'm filming in my bedroom. Hopefully someday I'll bring you better edited footage. In order to make really nice professional videos, you have to have a nice professional camera and a nice professional setup. Let's just say this. I don't know how committed I am to BookTube yet. Is that a bad thing to say? Especially when you're starting a channel and you're hoping that people will view. The truth is that I sign up for a lot of stuff and I start a lot of things because that's just who I am. I'm an innovator and I start things and sometimes they don't work out and I quit. I'm a quitter, but I'm also a starter, which I think is better. So challenges, I think staying committed to uploading a few videos every few days. When did you start reading? I think I already answered that earlier. Where do you read? I read everywhere. I kind of alluded to that in my question about how do you make time for reading. I read everywhere. So if I am outside, sitting in the park, I have a book. If I'm involved in a scintillating conversation, I might not read my book there, but I'll have a book that I could read if the conversation kind of starts to wane a little bit. Last question, what kind of books do you like to read? If it's printed, I want to read it. Look at this book. I love it because they say it's me, but I don't know. I can't see it. Yeah, I still can't see it. So, self-published books, I've read a lot of them. In order for you to read a self-published book, you'll have to buy it because self-published books are not in the library. And I get books to review because I am a book blogger. Most times I ask for business books because I'm doing a lot of entrepreneurial studies, trying to get my first homemade MBA of all time. I'll get it by reading just tons of books from people who have mastered this business administration deal. Self-help, personal development, motivational type books. I like leadership books. I also like to read fiction. Did I mention I like to read fiction? My favorite authors right now, Jojo Moes. I met her last month. She got my book. She likes me. What kind of books do you like to read? I like to read everything. I read fiction. I read nonfiction. Nonfiction, I read business. I read psychology. I love psychology books. I read science. I've kept all my engineering books because I like to read them. I like to reread them. I like to keep up with them. I tutor, so I use them. I like math books. My dad is a math professor, math buff. My dad reads math books in his spare time, and that is a habit that I have inherited from him because he does it and he's a smart guy. So hello, lessons from my father. I like books and I cannot lie. I am Run Right. Hello, my name is Run Right and I do Run Right Reads. Thank you for watching. Hope you will subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.